Hello, everyone. It's a new year, and with a new year comes some reflection on the previous year. And I did that, and I realized that I've seen some crazy stuff on TikTok in the past 12 months. Some takes and opinions that are too absurd to not see the light of day. So today, I'm going to show you the top 5 worst takes I saw on TikTok in 2022. Let's begin.
So the word flattering is rooted fundamentally in the patriarchy and an anti-fat bias, and the two are inextricably linked. Both are also rooted in racism.
So apparently the word flattering is anti-fat, patriarchal, and racist. We got a 3-for-1, all attributed to a very basic and innocent word. I love that.
I'm actually talking about being problematic is when people make blanket statements and decide that they're not open to dating members of any particular demographic group based on their identity in that demographic group. The first comment on this thread also implies that I'm claiming that this is a social justice issue somehow, and I didn't say that at all. I do think that access to love and relationships is a basic human right, but we can't control that.
This video threw me through multiple loops. At first, she said that it's problematic to not want to date someone that's part of a demographic group. Specifically, she's talking about fat people. So she's heavily implying that it is unrightful discrimination to exclude certain demographics from your dating pool. But then she said this is not at all a social justice issue. All right. But then she said access to romantic relationships is a basic human right. Do you know what social justice is? It is about basic human rights. So if it's not a social justice issue, then excluding people from your dating pool isn't unrightful discrimination. It's just problematic. But someone's human rights might also be being violated in the process. But access to romantic relationships is not a human right. Neither is access to physical or sexual relationships. Nobody owes you those things. The only reason this take isn't higher on the list is because at the end she said, we can't control that. Meaning we can't control people's romantic relationships, which is true. So at the very least, she's not advocating for forced romantic connections, which is good? I don't like the word good there. It seems too positive for the situation at hand. What's a word that means below the bare minimum, but above raging incel logic? Because that's where we're at. I don't have a word for it, but we'll just go with that and move on.
Discussion of the whale, I've been seeing a lot of people lacking true understanding of why fat suits are inherently harmful and fatphobic. Let's get into it. The usage of fat suits reinforce the societally held belief that fatness is not a natural state. It reinforces this idea that fatness is something that everyone can just take off. If you worked hard enough, there's a thin person inside of every fat person. This is emphasized with the unnatural look of most fat suits. Along with that, most actors who are wearing fat suits have never actually been the size that they are representing, and therefore in the fat suit, the way that they move, the way that they express, the way that they sit, these things look unnatural because they are for that person. A thin person wearing a fat suit is never going to look natural because that is not that person's natural state.
So the summary of this take was that fat suits are made to look unnatural because it reinforces the idea that fat is something that can be taken off. And so the people wearing the fat suits will look unnaturally fat while wearing them. I don't think anybody purposefully designs fat suits to look unnatural so the audience will know that the fat suit can be taken off to represent how fatness can be taken off. That's so weird. And to say that there is a natural way for fat people to walk and sit and move implies that there is a single way or a finite set of ways that all fat people move, walk, and sit, which isn't true. They're acting like there's some sort of fat accent. Like, you know when actors learn accents for movies and the reviews are like, the performance was spectacular. The costumes were superb. The acting was stunning. The only negative was that he didn't learn the fat accent as well as he should have. See how he's sitting in that chair? A real fat person would sit slightly more sideways, and their left leg would be slightly further out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
With a little bit more studying on the fat accent, he could have gotten it right. Such a pity. I've heard a lot of reasons over the years of why fat suits are bad, but the take that fat suits reinforce the idea that fat can be taken off and that fat suits don't represent how fat people move naturally is new and the most ridiculous one of all. If you didn't read the TikTok, it says, y'all under this audio being scared of gaining weight and getting acne and being ugly is hilarious to me because have y'all looked in a mirror recently? Neither of those things would make you any uglier than you already are. So there were people under a sound on TikTok saying they didn't want to gain weight and that they wanted to have clear skin or to not have acne. And apparently, not wanting to gain weight or have acne makes you an ugly person. Mind you, none of the TikToks where people were using the sound said that people that have acne or people that are fat are ugly. They just said they don't want to gain weight and that they don't want to have acne. But the creator then made a few clarifications on that TikTok.
I've gotten like a plethora of comments, and I've deleted most of them, that are just like people taking my post so fucking to heart. It's like y'all casually forget that fat people and people with acne exist when you want to project your own fucking fears of those things. And funnily enough, we're talking about two things that are incredibly genetic. Like, I don't know, just diet, wash your face, hope for the best, and shut the fuck up.
So I guess saying that you don't want to gain weight or have acne is offensive to people that are fat or that have acne because you're projecting your insecurities onto them? I don't think that's true. Saying that you don't want to gain weight or you don't want acne isn't you projecting your insecurities onto other people if that statement wasn't even directed at those people. And even if obesity and acne are genetic, they're still medical conditions. So why be upset that people don't want to have a medical condition? And then she said that people are taking it to heart and that people were blowing it out of proportion. You called people ugly. The people who said that they didn't want to gain weight or have acne didn't say anything bad about fat people or people with acne, but you took issue with it. You called them ugly. And now it's, wow, people are really blowing this out of proportion. This reminds me of that one girl in high school that every high school has that's like, drama is so annoying. Like, I stay out of it. Like, it's so time consuming. I can't stand it. I hate drama. But she is always the most dramatic person, just starting fires everywhere and then wondering where they came from. That feels like exactly what happened in this scenario. But this was going to be the number one worst take of the year up until December 28th, when another TikTok came in, swooped in, and took the top spot. And this TikTok is number one solely because of the caption. It says, part of pursuing thin privilege is pursuing proximity to whiteness.
I hate fat people. They just hate them. Like, there's like this weird hatred it feels almost akin to racism.
This is not like racism, it is racism. Anti-fatness is rooted in anti-blackness. And the reason why people are pursuing thinness is because they're pursuing proximity to whiteness.
So anyone who tries to lose weight is trying to become closer to whiteness. I have a friend who's a black woman that recently got bariatric surgery. If she heard this woman saying that she was trying to be white or be closer to whiteness because she got bariatric surgery, she would be furious. It is absolutely crazy to say that there are racist implications to weight loss. And keep in mind, this video was hashtagged with weight loss. And if losing weight means that you're trying to be closer to whiteness, if I choose to gain weight intentionally, Am I trying to be black? Is that cultural appropriation? Is it modern day blackface? Are those offensive questions to ask? I don't know, but it can't be any more offensive than telling people that losing weight not only means that they're trying to be more white, but they are also being anti-black. What the fuck? If people want to lose weight, they shouldn't be chastised for pursuing thin privilege or pursuing whiteness or being anti-black. And of course, I have to point out that this TikTok conspicuously leaves out any other reason someone might try to lose weight aside from thin privilege and trying to be more white, like all of the health problems that could come with being obese, like heart problems, increased risk of stroke, cancer, joint problems, type 2 diabetes, the list goes on. But that obviously couldn't be a reason someone would lose weight. No. They're just trying to be white. Anyway, that's it for this video. The top 5 worst takes I've seen on TikTok in 2022. Here's to hoping that 2023 is better. I hope you all had a good New Year's, and I will see you in my next video.